Hello, everyone. My name is Trish McCabe, and welcome to Conversations from the School of Hard Knocks. This is a podcast where people from all walks of life will be sharing their stories and the wisdom they have gained from their life experiences. In no way is this show offering any kind of advice or counsel. These conversations will be of a very sensitive nature, so please be respectful in your comments, and thank you for watching. Hello, everyone. My name is Trish, and welcome to Conversations from the School of Hard Knocks. Today, I have my guest Mike here to join me again today to talk about codependency. Mike, you and I have talked about this through the years, actually, and you post a lot about the subject. And I know you deal with it with the work that you do. And I'm excited because I'm going to learn a few things here because I know that I am a codependent. I have a family of alcoholism and drug addiction, and I have a family member that I'm struggling with currently right now. So the subject is perfect timing for me personally, and I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to help others understand themselves as I'm learning by what we talk about today. So I guess the first thing that I would say is I think the hardest thing for me as a codependent I struggle with is guilt. Feeling guilty for setting a boundary. You know, you don't like I'm in an unhealthy relationship with a family member, and I have tried to help this person to my detriment. And after talking with you, I did exactly what you recommended I do with this family member. And I had to say, look, I can't continue to support you in this. You need to get some help. And I'm still sort of struggling maintaining that boundary. So what are your thoughts on that? I thought this would be a great place to start.
Well, I mean, so I'm trying to remember like what was going on. So my understanding of codependency is like if you're in a relationship and you're codependent, your happiness depends on the other person. Like if they're happy, then you're happy. If they're doing what you think they should be doing, then you're happy. If they're sad or depressed, you're depressed. If they're not doing like living their life according to the way you believe they should be living their life, or
Okay.
it's just out of the bounds of normalcy, then you're sad and you're dragged into it and you can't seem to separate yourself from that relationship.
Perfect. Yeah, it's the what was the other enabling factor of being a codependent, I guess is what I'm talking about, is I have I'm very close with this particular family member and have been for years. And everything you just said is exactly what I've struggled with because
Mm-hmm.
this person is an alcoholic and also takes pills and is very difficult to deal with. And, I've sort of helped that person. I've been enabling that person. And of course, I have a codependent relationship with them because I'm so close. And it's gotten to the point where it's become so unhealthy. This person has become so unhealthy that it's affecting me and my personal life and my relationship with my significant other. And I'm struggling with that part of being a codependent, I guess, if that makes sense.
I got you. So, I mean, what, like in an intervention, let's just say like you were going to do an intervention on her. You're going to cut her off from any help. I'm not going to give you any help. I'm not going to give you any money. I'm not going to sit and listen to your stories. None of that. I'm here for you when you get help. If you stop using or you stop drinking and you go get help for this, and you start improving your own mental health through the help that you're getting, I'm here for you. Then I'm here to help you in any way that I can. But if things are going to remain the same, then I have to cut this off.
Yes. And that is what I'm in the process of doing. So,
And you're feeling a lot
but,
of guilt.
and I'm feeling a lot of guilt. When I was thinking of codependency, I'm not, I haven't studied all this. I'm just going off of what I've read online and other people discussing, other therapists and whatnot. And enabling is a part of that. So I guess I guess I just wanted
Well,
to
we
see what
enable
your
them
thoughts are
because
on
we
that
want
part of it.
them. We have an expectation out of our enabling. We think that if we help them, that they're going to change, so to say, or they're going to, they're going to do what we feel is right. And when they don't, and we feel like shit, then we're angry or we're hurt. Um, and our happiness, we kind of lose our happiness or joy or anything like that because they're not happy, and your
Yeah, and there's a
relationship isn't well.
resentment there too. I
Right,
feel of
there's a
of like
resentment.
I'm taking on their stuff and trying to help them, and they won't do what they need to do to help themselves. So then you just get incredibly frustrated and resentful. I get angry now. I'm just like, this
Expectations
is,
always lead to resentments.
yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, I mean, it just does. I mean, so if if you're like giving her money or something with an expectation that she's going to buy groceries and she goes out and buys liquor,
Hmm,
I
there you
mean,
go.
that's just an example. You're getting frustrated.
Because of my
Um,
time, I'm getting frustrated that I'm available for this person so much, and it's draining to me. And they say that I'm not there for them, enough, and then I'm just constantly having to be there for them while they just continue to do the same thing and do nothing to take responsibility for themselves, their lives, their situation. And if I'm not there and supporting them in every single thing, I get the guilt trip and it's my fault, and just and then I'm even more angry. Like, how can you say that? I do nothing. I'm here for you all the time. I take your phone calls even when you're under the influence, especially when you're under the influence, and that kind of thing. I didn't mean to make this about me. I'm just using
oh no,
this
it's fine. It's fine.
scenario to try to, talk about the enabling factor of codependency, because I think it is such a, it doesn't only apply to a family. It can apply to anything, right? I mean,
Well, yeah,
any kind
but
of relationship.
you might not like what I'm going to say. Um, if you have an expectation, then you're going to get hurt. You're going to have a resentment. You're going to get angry. I mean, it's such a hard thing. I would have to remove myself from a situation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If that's what's going on. If I can't give somebody money, just and I don't care what they do, then I don't care if they pay me back. If somebody asks me for a loan, I'll give them $20 and I'll say, well, this ain't a loan. Just keep it. Um, to just pay it forward or something like that, and they don't pay me back. I can't get angry. You know what I mean? But if I give somebody money and they say I'm going to pay you Friday, and I'm like, I need it Friday, and then Friday comes and they're gone, I'm angry. So I
Yes.
usually don't lend money like that. I will give somebody the money, right? If I have it. If I don't have it, if I can't afford it, I can't give it to them. And that's the same thing with. So you're helping her emotionally by being there and listening and all of this stuff. And it sounds like to me like you have. When I hear what you're saying, I hear you're going to be there for her and you're going to support her through this. But if she's not going to get better, then you're going to get mad at her.
I don't even know if it's mad at her. It's more like she's always, I said she, well, crying victim, and acting as though everything's happening to her, but she's not willing to take responsibility for her part. And that's even not for me to say, but like, it's kind of like when somebody keeps crying wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just
I get it.
there and you're always listening, and then they don't ever do anything to change their situation. It's extremely frustrating. And then when you pull away, they give you the guilt trip and say you're not there for them. It's like this pattern of trying to save somebody that will not save themselves. And so I finally had to put the foot down and go, I mean, you know what you need to do to get well, and that's something I can't do for you. But if you're not going to do it, I can't continue to listen to it. I can't take it on. I can't listen to you complain when you continue to do the same thing expecting a different result. It's just it's so frustrating, it's just a
Well,
very frustrating cycle that I've been
my
stuck in.
sponsor, if I go to him for advice and I don't take it, and then I come to him with the same problem, he's not going to deal with me. He has that boundary set up. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a time where he stopped sponsoring me and we weren't friends because he was advising me on things to do with my ex-wife, and I was not agreeing with him. And he got mad and said, "Nah, man, I can't do this no more. I mean,
Yes.
I've been walking you through this and listening and being your friend through it, but you're doing the same thing. I mean, and you're
Yes.
not taking my advice, but you're coming back to me after not taking my advice, almost expecting me to give different advice, and I can't do that, you know."
Exactly. That's exactly that's the dynamic that I'm in right now with this person that I love dearly, but it's become toxic to me because this person knows what they need to do. I've even shared information that you gave me about getting help, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to get help. Um, and you're not doing that. So I can't continue to hear you cry victim about the situation that you keep allowing. You're not, she's not doing the things that only she can do to help herself. I can
Well,
sit
right,
and listen all day long, but it's like after a while you get frustrated because it's like they're not doing their part. And I can't take that on. And I found that that's what I was doing, and then just getting upset all the time. And then it's like, when I would say I can't do this anymore, I get the guilt trip. You're not there for me. And it's like, well, I'm not going to be there for you if you're going to keep harming yourself. I can't support you in that.
right.
I'll support you if what you're doing is trying to get some counseling, get into a program, get out of your current situation, or at least make a plan and have an action a plan steps of moving out of the current toxic situation that she's in as well. So it's hard to I feel incredible guilt doing that, but it's like the other way I wasn't helping her. All I was doing was just enabling her, I feel
If
like.
you go and just live your life, eventually your guilt will go away because you're doing what you need to do for yourself.
Yes, for my
You
own
have to
well.
break that tie within you. Um, but you have to live your life. You have to do the things that you do, the things that make you happy, and allow yourself that happiness from it.
And so, you know, um yeah, it's just she's such a big part of my life and I'm very close. And so that codependent part is just, you know, um I'm closer with this person than anyone else in the family. So it's very difficult to let that go and
I
not
know.
be able to be a part of her life. But it's to the point where it's starting to be very harmful to me and it's affecting my relationship, my romantic relationship.
Mhm.
And because I'm upset all the time, and this person is saying you have to put a boundary up, you have to because she's not wanting to take care of her stuff and expecting me to just listen to it over and over. It's like Groundhog Day, for years.
Well,
And
I mean,
oh,
I get that with people who I sponsor. I sponsor a guy who's been in the same relationship for 5 years, 4 years, has a child with this girl, and I mean, she gets really vicious and very, very abusive, not physically
yes,
but emotionally.
yes,
And they break up, and then she realizes how good she has it and wants to come back, and he lets her back.
exactly.
I mean,
It's a
I just keep.
toxic cycle of codependency enabling for me. I'm a very giving person to my own detriment. So,
Mhm.
um, and I've had to work very hard to develop this new part of myself that now has boundaries and now honors what works for me and what doesn't. And with family members, it's particularly difficult. And
Sure.
I didn't mean to make this about me. It's more like I'm more, if I'm talking about this because I know there are so many people struggling with this, and talking with you about it, all your schooling and your school of hard knocks and knowledge about this dynamic and getting your input. So this is perfect. I mean, what you're
Well, I had a
saying,
lot of
and
that with my ex-wife as well. I mean, her happiness depended on me, you know, doing everything that she wanted and not doing the things she didn't want me to do. And my world would get, I don't even know how to put it. It would just get completely insane. Like when we were married, if I went out with my friends, if I went out with my male friends to go play poker, or went out of town to go fishing or something like that, I'd get the guilt trip. It's like, and if I
yes.
didn't give her, hundreds of dollars, I'd hear about everything my kids didn't have when I was making $200,000 or $300,000 a year, and there was nothing my kids didn't have. You know what I mean? Um,
And so you were made to feel overly responsible for her happiness, like all the
Absolutely,
time with everything.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, uh, I left her, and for 10 years, I bought into that whole shit, and continually, because she would raise such hell, and just come between the kids and I, and do all kinds of things that I would just try to keep her at bay. And it wasn't until I just said, you know what? I mean, this is completely insane. I'm at the point in my life where if my kids don't want anything to do with me, if they want to stay around her and not want anything to do with me, I'm going to be fine with it, because I know who I am. I know what I do. And I'm not going to allow myself to get my mood destroyed over somebody else, over me not being what somebody else wants me to be.
That's an interesting one now, and I get that. That's exactly, I've had my this person I care about tell me that, that, oh, I'm trying to find a way to explain it. Just being made to feel overly responsible, being made to feel uh just
Well,
that
here's the
excuse.
deal.
Sorry.
She could she could do anything she chooses. It's up to you to feel the way you feel. That your mood is your choice. You know what I mean? Um,
Yes.
so and your feelings are based off of how you think.
Yes.
So I mean, there's something with you that thinks that you have to be there for her, or you're less than. I mean, I can't
Yes.
hit the nail on the head,
Yes.
but so since you feel that way, and then you don't do something for her, and you do something for yourself, you start feeling guilty. But her happiness is not your responsibility. her
Yes.
her emotional well-being is not your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility, and your emotional well-being is your responsibility.
Well, this is where, see, it keeps coming in and it keeps going. You're saying you can't tell somebody that they need to be a certain way. And she tells me that you're trying to tell me how to be, and you're not accepting me for who I am. They use that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, I'm not accepting you for how you're choosing to be. I'm not
Well, yeah. I
accepting
mean, if
that.
you choose to be in this situation that's causing you so much harm, and you're not doing anything to get out of it, I mean, I'm not trying to change you. I just, these conversations that you and I have are killing me, and I can't do it anymore. I would love to go out to a restaurant with you and have fun, and talk about music and whatever else, but this stuff's killing me, and we never do anything other than that.
And the other part is just the, I just think the most difficult part about this situation when you really love somebody that's an addict, and that, every time they call you, they're blottoed and, talking out of their mind, and then they
Right.
get abusive and violently abusive verbally. And it's just, I can't do that anymore. I just, it's not good for my spirit. I have
No,
to just
absolutely
honor
not.
that. And, but then what I get is when I call her on it, she tells me I'm judging her and I'm trying to tell her how to be. And I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. I just can't deal with someone that is abusing themselves. I
It,
can't
it sounds
just,
to me like it doesn't matter what you tell her, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, she's only seeing things through the one lens, and she's not looking at anything else. So it doesn't matter what you tell her. I mean,
yeah.
it's hard to say something like this, but I mean, I tell people, you could think anything you want about me. You could believe anything you choose to believe about me. I'm not going to change myself to change the way you think about me. I'm not going to try to explain myself to you to change how you think about me. I don't need to do that. I know who I am.
This is what she says to me. Exactly what you said. She says exactly that to me when I call her on her excessive drinking and pill popping. And what and there's a lot of, she's in an abusive relationship, she's being harmed, she's harming herself, and it's a continual thing. And so I tell her, you got to stop, and you can't tell me what to do, and you're not accepting me for who I am, and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, I don't know how to reply to that.
I,
It's
you can't tell somebody they have to change. You can't tell somebody. I mean, it's not that you can't. It's just that doesn't work. I mean, somewhere inside her, she knows she has to change. What you have to get across is when you act like this, when you are in this position, I feel like I'm dragged into it, and I feel like shit. I can't do it. I just can't be around that.
somebody that's constantly harming themselves, by staying in a harmful situation with a significant other, which is she's
Right.
being physically abused and won't do anything about it. And not only will she not do anything about that, but she won't do anything about her harming of herself. And I just can't watch it anymore. It just destroys me, and it puts fear in me and worry in me. And I just try to save her. And it's like, I can't do that. I am removing myself as we speak.
Well,
I'm
right.
in that process to save
So
myself.
when I said to you that you're allowed to think or believe or anything that you think of me, I mean, I wasn't. I was. That's what I would be saying if I was you.
Okay.
I know. I understand. She says that to you,
The projection.
right?
She
But
projects it.
the, it, what I'm getting from you is you're allowing yourself to feel the way she's telling you to feel.
Yes.
Let her think whatever she wants. What she thinks matters not. What you think and
Yes.
what you feel is what matters. If
Yes.
you need to be away from her and she's telling you you're a piece of shit, okay, fine. I'm a piece of shit, but I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to live my life listening to you telling me about you getting beat up every other week with you staying there. I mean, if you want to leave him and come here and live here, you can. If you go back to him, you can't live here after that. I'm just giving you things to throw
Yeah,
out there.
exact
Not
right.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? Um,
Yes. There are
I'm,
resources available to her. I've even looked them up and given her this information, and she's actually in therapy and has made some strides. But she
and
will
I bet your
not.
therapist is just like, what the hell?
I don't think she tells the therapist everything. So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And for me, I have to do what you said. It's come down to, I don't even care anymore. This is not healthy. I need to get off this toxic merry-go-round of trying to save somebody that won't save themselves, and just standing by, and it's like I'm supporting it. I feel like I just am helping it perpetuate itself by being there for her when she's not even being there for herself, if that makes any
In a sort of way you are. I mean,
yes. Yeah, that's my part in
and
it.
it's
Yes.
really hard to walk away from that, and it's really hard for um, you to not allow yourself to feel what she's trying to get you to feel. And that's why I say you have to live your life. You can't just do that and then like have this void. You have to live your life. You have to play your music. You have to go out with your boyfriend. You have to enjoy your job. If you like your job, do the things that you want to do. I mean, you have to occupy yourself with something to replace what you have with her, or you're going to take yourself there mentally until you free
Wow.
yourself.
Right. Because in all things, I mean, really and truly, listeners, this isn't about her. I'm talking about this is about me and people that are
Mm-hmm.
struggling in the position that I'm in and wanting to understand all the variables. And thank you so much because this is, I am taking responsibility for my part. That's the only part I can change. I
Well,
can complain about her 10 ways from Sunday, but I know that if I'm
you're
allowing it,
powerless
then
over
that's
her.
on me.
Right.
Yes, and breaking
Yeah,
that,
you're
that's
not
this is
powerless over you. You're not powerless
yes.
over your feelings either. I mean,
Oh,
so I hear a lot of you buying into what she's selling because of how you think, and it's really hard to change the way you think. It is. I mean, you can't think yourself into behaving differently. You have to behave yourself into thinking differently. Does that make any sense?
yes, yes. Yeah, I
And
like
that
what you
goes for
said about
everything. I mean, that goes for people with addiction, because I mean, drug use is only a symptom of the disease. The disease lies within our thinking and the way our brains are. Um, and that's the same thing with codependency. It's the same thing with any behavior change. I mean, anything. So you're trying to change your behavior. You're trying to change your behavior.
yes, which is why I'm
And
having the show because I want to encourage people, hey, I'm going through this and here's what's happening and I have a professional who's explaining to me how we get in these positions and this is why I'm not, my show is not look at me, I have all the answers. Actually, it's a
right,
collective and
right.
understanding myself and this dynamic and the situation that I'm in. And so when other people are watching, they can see, hey, oh, that's me. And to just the change comes with taking responsibility for your part, which is what I'm doing now. I'm looking at myself and going, why am I doing this? Why have I been doing this? What's this about? And start to move in the direction of freeing myself from this toxic cycle that I've been in with this person that I love dearly, but I can't. It's gotten to the point where, you know, I'm allowing it to affect me. I have allowed it to affect me to this point, and I'm like, okay, why am I allowing this? And here we are having this conversation, pretty
Well,
much.
right. And so we just change. We don't try to change. We just change. What you try to do is try to hold on to whatever it is that's keeping you sick. Um, so you'll, I mean, the way I'm explaining it is like you go away and you won't talk to her for a week or two, and then she'll leave you a message that it's emergency or something like that, and you bring yourself back and you'll answer that phone. So it's not
Don't
like you're
answer.
trying to change, because the week or two that you didn't talk to her, you changed. And then what you're trying to do is to hold on to something with her, so you call her back. And that's holding on to the stuff that's keeping you sick. We love to hold on to the shit that keeps us sick way more than anything else. But because that's comfortable, and you
And it's
have this,
familiar.
and
Hmm.
it's familiar, and you have this love for her, so you have this hope that maybe something better can happen. But until she does something about it, nothing better is going to happen. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to use a parable. It's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes, but maybe you'll
Perfect.
get it.
Would love it. Yes.
And you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this. When I ask you this question, you're going to think, what the hell is wrong with this fucking guy? Is he out of his mind?
I doubt
I
it.
have to ask you a question now. Do you have any clue how they catch monkeys in South America?
I don't.
Okay. So there's a hunter, right? And he goes out into this jungle, and there's hundreds and hundreds of monkeys, and they're all up in these trees. And these trees have these nuts in them, right? And that's what the monkeys live over. That's what they eat. And this hunter has this one big nut, right? One of the same nuts that's in the trees with all these monkeys, but he's walking around and showing this nut off, and all the hundreds of monkeys in the trees are all looking at him saying, look at that nut. I want that nut. Oh my God. And he just keeps walking around for 5 or 10 minutes showing this nut off, right? And then he takes the nut and he puts it in this jug. And he ties a rope around it because the jug has a handle on it. And he ties the other end of the rope around a tree. And he puts the nut in the jug and he walks away. Right? So all these monkeys go racing down to this freaking jug like lunatics. They don't even realize that the freaking nuts are all in the trees that they're standing in. They want that one. That's a special nut, right? So they all run down there, and this one lucky monkey gets his hand inside the jug. He gets his hand around the nut. And he's like showing off to all his friends. I got the nut. I got the nut, right? And the hunter comes walking towards him with a bat. So the monkey, he goes to take his hand out of the jug, but he can't. Because the jug is designed that if his hand is balled up in a fist, he can't get it out. He has to do what to get his hand out?
Let go.
Let go of what?
Let go of the nut.
He's got to let go of the nut, right? But this is an addict monkey. He's a dope fiend. He wants that nut. So instead, he takes off running as fast as he can, as far as he can, until the rope reaches his end. He almost pulls his arm out of the socket. And the hunters keep coming closer. But what does the monkey have to do?
He has to let go of it.
But he takes off running about 3 or 4 times until his arm hurts so bad that he can't do it. And the hunter's getting closer. So then the monkey turns and faces this hunter with his mean face, and he's mean mugging him, and he's showing his teeth, and he's making these ungodly sounds. But in reality, he's a one-armed monkey. What the hell is a one-armed monkey going to do to somebody? Hold on. What the hell?
We had
I got a phone call while this was going on.
There we go. Yeah.
So anyway, so the one-armed monkey, what's he gonna do? He's just trying to scare this guy. But the hunter's, I ain't scared of you, man. You got one arm. What you gonna do to me? He keeps walking towards him, and the monkey, what did he have to do? I forgot.
He had to let go.
He had to let go of the nut. Again, this is an addict monkey, man. He's doping. He wants that monkey. So then he starts crying, man. He gets real sad, man. He's like, damn, shit, dude. All I want is a fucking nut. Why are you coming at me with a bat over a nut? All I want is this nut. He's crying. He's making this sad face, whimpering. The hunter don't care, right? What did the monkey have to do?
He had to let go of the nut.
Right? But the hunter comes and whacks him upside the head because he just wouldn't let go of the nut. And there was a million nuts all around him. He didn't need that nut. He just thought he did.
Oh my God.
What do you have in common with the monkey?
Exactly. I love that. It's an excellent parable. That's awesome. That's so, and that's what I know this. You know, everything in our life is an inside job. I mean, we can blame everybody. But it's the only part we can change is our part. We have to do the letting go. We can't, we can talk about them, but until we let go,
you got to let go of the nut.
You can't change other people. The only thing you can change is your part in it. And that is why I'm having this discussion.
You can't run. You can't hide. You can't scream and yell and you can't cry. None of that's helping you. The only thing that will help you is when you let go of the nut and go get your nuts elsewhere.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I know
my sponsor, that's part of my sponsor story. He tells that every time he shares his story.
Because it's important. It really illustrates that truth of, you know, freeing yourself. We're the only ones that can do it.
To hold on to shit. I mean, it really always is holding on. We never try to change. You know, you change, plain and simple. You never try to change, you just change. What we try to do is hold on to some semblance of some part of our past or some behavior or some person in hopes that we can make it different or make it better. But we spent so much time trying to do it, either by running, by yelling, screaming, or crying, or whatever, but we never change that. You know, the only thing we do is change ourselves.
Well, I will say that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
When I was in treatment, my counselor made an idiot out of me. Because like I got kicked out and then he let me stay. And they kept saying about like, you have to change this and change that. And I kept yelling, man. I was just getting, look, man, I've been here for 24 days. I'm fucking trying, man. I'm trying to do the best I can. You guys wanted me to do this and I fucking did it. You guys want me to do this and I did it. And he says, man, come over here. And he put me in the middle of the room and he put this small little chair in the middle of the floor. And there's 20 people in this rehab. And he's like, do me a favor and try to pick up that chair. And I picked the chair up. And he goes, you're stupid. Put the chair down. And I said, what the hell, dude? And he's like, well, try to pick it up. And I picked it up. And he says, you're not only stupid, you have a fucking hearing disorder. Put the chair down. And I was like, dude, what the hell, man? I mean, I'm in tears. I mean, I was a wreck, 25, 24 days without any drugs, constantly having to talk about how I feel. And he's like, dude, it's really simple, man. Try to pick up the fucking chair. And I picked it up again. And he said, man, you're not only stupid and have a hearing disorder, you have a learning disorder. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you do what I'm telling you to do? And I said, I picked up the fucking chair, And he said, what word wasn't in that sentence? What word wasn't in that sentence?
Try. There is no try.
Right.
There is only, you either do or don't. There's no try. Like,
Right.
Who is that? Yoda.
Right.
There is no try, he says.
We don't try and change. I mean,
there's either do or don't.
When you're driving your car, how do you try and make a left turn? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you could. I mean, we try to hold on. We hold on to everything, and it's hopefulness. It's fear of what will be like. Life will be like without it. It's fear of what is this new
Losing
world going to be like
too. Yes.
And we get these little tastes of it. You know what I mean? Well, you get these little tastes by spending a week or two away from her, but then you go back. Whatever brings you back.
This is yeah. It's been a couple of weeks, and I have to say, I mean, I've noticed how much calmer I am, how much more grounded I am.
Right.
I'm not inundated with worry and thought. I'm working on letting go of that, like the serenity prayer of I can't control that. And I've been trying to my whole life with my whole entire family, taking the weight of it all on myself. And that's been exhausting. And now, like I said, I've been in this relationship, and this person has been through a lot of the same kinds of things. So he can really see it. And he's like, you see what you're doing to yourself? You are doing it.
Sounds like what you're talking to your sister about.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Oh, that's perfect. And that's that. I want to say that's codependency and the enabling part of it. The enabling, I guess, is really what I wanted to
It's
talk
not
about.
so much codependency. That's really not what codependency.
Inaccurate. Okay.
I mean, it has its roots in codependency, but it's not codependency. Codependency is if you're trying to make somebody happy, so you give them $100 and they're not happy, so then you're sad, and so then you're trying to make somebody happy, so you dress a certain way to make that person happy, and they're still being an asshole to you, so you're sad then because you're making your happiness. You're making your happiness their responsibility because you're not happy unless they're happy. You're not
right caring about what they think about you.
Well, you're
more than you care about
self-worth off of what somebody else thinks about you.
I have some of that with my sister, I do. And she uses that sometimes. She will say, well, then you're bad and you don't love me and blah, 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 blah. If I don't
my ex-wife
pick up the phone.
Too. I used to have 5-day long you don't love me fights just because I looked at a girl. You know what I mean?
Or just because if I don't answer the phone, if I'm busy and I'm out about during the day and I don't answer the phone, I get the guilt trip. I get, where are you? Why didn't you pick up the phone? You're never there for me. And it keeps me constantly trying to be there for her and feeling like I'm not a good sister if I don't answer the phone every time she calls, so there are elements of it because we are so close. And so that's I'm trying to clarify the difference between codependency and enabling.
I would give her hope. I would write her a letter saying, I miss you from before these times. I miss the person you were before you got all messed up on drugs, before you were with this person. I'm waiting for the real you to come back because this ain't the real you. This is somebody who's messed up. And I love you still just the same, but I can't be around that. I could only be around the real you, the person you were. And we're all waiting for you. Everybody wants you back, but you have to do this. We can't bring you back. You have to get yourself back, you know? I mean, that's what I
Perfect.
tell people who have children who they're either putting out of their house or their children are in placement or rehab and they want to leave, you know? Like I had to do that with my own kid when she was in a partial hospitalization program for mental health. You have to, you know, I give the hope. I really love you and I want you here. I want you here with me so bad, but I want you here with me when you're not telling me I'm the worst father in the world, when you're not calling me a piece of shit, when you're not telling me you're going to make porno in my fucking bed. Because
Oh,
these are all things she said to me at times.
yeah, right.
I can't live like that. You know,
Yeah.
I can't do that. I mean, I understand you're angry with me. Be as angry with me as you choose to be, man. I'm not going to change. I'm going to be who I am. I'm looking out for your best interest. Your best interest to you is different than your best interest to me. And
Yes.
go live your life. Go live your life. Go do what you got to do. If you want me back, you know, in your life, this is what I require.
Yeah, and the part that's difficult about that is when they say you're trying to tell me how to be, you're trying to tell me what to do, you're not accepting me for who I am. And I
I
think that
know I
just
love
goes
who you are. I love who
the
you
real
are
you.
dearly. This is not who you are. This is
Ah,
something
okay.
different.
This is great. This is a distinction that is so important in this conversation. So then me saying that this is codependency is not completely 100% accurate. It's enabling
No,
and codependency, what I'm
I mean,
doing. My
it has, like I said, it has roots in codependency because you're basing your sense of self-worth and you're basing your happiness off of being there for her.
being a good
But you've been
sister.
there and nothing's changed. So that is
Yes.
codependency.
Okay.
But more along it of it is holding on to something that's toxic, you know, which is, I guess that's codependency. I mean, in a way, it definitely is. It's just you have a way out, you
Yeah.
know. I mean,
And
at
that's
this
the
point,
enabling part because that's something I do. That's part of my problem that I have and with my that I'm working on with myself is, you know, being so supportive to people to their detriment and my own, basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think. I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm talking with you because I want to have clarity. I want to make
are
sure
you
that
giving her money for drugs or giving her, you know, you're just listening.
I'm just being there for her because she doesn't have anyone else.
Yeah,
Everyone
no,
else has
that's
cut
not
her off. Everyone is like, I can't do this. I
right.
can't do this with
Right.
you. And I'm the last of it. So it's on me. And I have that guilt of, she's going to be alone now. Well, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that's what needs to happen because I'm not happy,
I mean,
obviously. What I've been through.
I had to get to that point in my own life, you know, where there was nobody else. There was just no way I could continue on uh, before I started changing, before I went to treatment, before I got clean. Just trying to think.
That's why it's so powerful to talk to you because you understand you've been on both sides.
Yeah,
You've been the
yeah.
addict and you've been the person that's dealing with the addict. So
All
it's
right.
great talking with you because you can see it from both sides. I don't, I'm not an addict, so I don't have that experience. So this is great. I
Mhm.
appreciate you sharing what it's like to be the addict and what it feels like and where your mind is at when you're stuck in
Well,
substance.
yeah. I mean, like I could not. So there was so many reasons why I didn't. I mean, so the core of addiction is self-centeredness. You know, we're stuck in our own triangle of self-obsession, so to say. Um, if I like when my parents wouldn't let me live in their house and I slept on subways, you know, and then they gave me a break and they put me in a hotel room for a week or something like that. I went and spent like $1,000 on room service. I mean, I was so mad at them, without realizing that, I stole everything that wasn't tied down. I took my mother's whole paycheck out of her wallet, and spent it all. I wouldn't allow myself to look at anything like that. I wouldn't allow myself to look at my partner, because I already knew I was a piece of shit at that time. I already knew. I didn't know I was sick. I just felt like the biggest piece of shit. After getting clean and understanding a lot, I wanted to be forgiven. And then, years later, after years of therapy and seeing their part in it, and through sober eyes, through eyes that weren't trying to take the blame away from myself or nothing like that, I learned to forgive too.
It's a powerful thing to be able to get to
Yeah,
that
I mean,
place.
yeah, I mean, they had to learn the same thing. And the only thing, they never ever looked at their part in anything. It's so weird, and it wasn't about them for me to forgive. They didn't have to do that for me to forgive them. I had to understand who they were and accept it. That's who they are and how they are. And I'm not going to even try to change it or explain it or anything. I just have to find it in my heart to forgive. If I want to be part of this house, if I want to be part of
Yeah.
this family, I have to do that. If I can't, then I don't want to be part of this family. And I did.
And you did. And that's where you just let go of what isn't yours, I guess, in a sense. It's like, that's for them. Like, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's in the accepting, you let go of
I let go of
that.
the nut.
That's anything for you to be doing anything about to begin with. That's theirs, and they're either gonna do it or they're not. But you're accepting of that and forgiving that they may not be able to. Because it's not yours, kind of
No,
thing.
right,
But yeah,
right.
yes, I
And
can understand that. Yes.
that was one of the nuts for me, if that makes any sense to you.
Oh yes, I had to. My stepfather, my mother were alcoholics, and they passed away very early on in my life. So I had to have that conversation of forgiveness. So I understand that. I think it's they can't know what they don't know. And
Well, right. And for
you
years though,
know,
I held on to that. I
me
held on
too.
to that
Anger
resentment
about
and
it.
anger.
Yes.
I mean, I was so messed up, and I was so messed up largely in part to the way that they parented me. And I was angry at them
Yes.
for that,
Yes, exactly.
and that was the nut that I was holding on to, rather than saying, you know what, I am messed up, but I could change, I could do better, I could accept myself for who I am. You know what I mean? And say, okay, you're
Yes.
messed up, but this is who you are, and you're working every day at being a better person. I held on to the nut of it was their fault, and resentment
Blame
and
and the
anger and
victim
all of this shit.
mentality. Yes, when you're constantly living out of they didn't I wasn't raised right. I didn't get what I needed. Da, 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 da. They
Right,
did this, but they didn't know that was what they were taught. So once you get
right.
into adulthood and you get to sobriety on various levels, you can look at it objectively and go, I forgive them for that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and you take
Yeah.
and the empowering part of that is taking responsibility for your life and the choices that you made, regardless of what they did or didn't do. You at some point have to go, well, I am responsible for my life moving forward. I'm going to be
Well,
accountable for my own self, and I'm going to stop blaming them, because that just keeps you in that perpetual
I'm responsible for my state of
victim.
mind. You know,
Yes,
I am.
exactly.
It's not them. It's not. I mean, whatever they did, they did. That was done, and I'm who I am because of that. But I could change that, and I could change the way I think about myself, and I could change the way I see myself. Um, and I could do things to make myself a better man, by being a better man, you know.
Yes. And it starts with your thoughts. I love that. It starts with the conversation in your mind
Hmm.
with yourself.
Well,
But
it all comes from that.
yes,
You can never tell somebody you shouldn't feel that way. I mean, feelings are feelings. They're going to come. People feel based off the way they think. and that's how everything works like that. And I've always felt like I was a piece of shit and less than, because I thought that I had to be this person to be better,
Instead of
like,
loving and accepting yourself and saying,
for
well,
whoever I
yeah,
was, however fucked up I was, however crazy
all of
and nutty I
it,
was,
flaws and everything. Yes. And that,
warts and all.
and the thoughts in your mind that produce those emotions and those feelings about yourself. Like if you don't
Right.
feel
So
good about yourself, your actions will be a reflection of that. So it's being mindful of your thoughts and responsible for them as well. Say, well, why
absolutely.
am I thinking this about myself? Stop that. You have to actually say, stop doing that. Like that's not helpful. And it's
I
okay
have
to
to
be
do that
whatever you
often.
are. Yeah. Oh, this is such a huge, long, whole other conversation. But um, I I I just this particular I felt like it was an opportunity because I'm in the thick of it to have this conversation with you because I know you know the ins and outs of this particular of being in a
I
relationship
really
with an
don't. I
addict and
mean, it's weird. Like I don't know how to tell you to help your sister. I know how to tell you to help yourself. You know, like helping yourself is how you're going to help your sister.
that's what yes that's what I was after of yes of understanding this dynamic this is the work that you do, this dynamic, either on one end or the other. And that's why I just appreciate your time so much
Mhm.
and being open and hearing my story and then chiming in with your story and what
Mhm.
you've learned and helping me to apply what you've learned to this situation so that we're on this show, people are having an opportunity to look at this dynamic and learn something hopefully from what we've just discussed. And
I hope so.
so, yep, it's probably getting to be that time. Thank you. I know I always do that, but I just appreciate your time and energy so much and your wisdom in your walk of life that you're sharing with me and the viewers today. And it probably sounds sappy, but I'm that
Nah,
way. So,
it's all
but
good.
thank you so much, Mike. And I look
I
forward to
got you.
talking sometime soon. And
Anytime.
awesome. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great day. Have a lovely day with your furry friend there. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah, she won't leave me alone. All right, Trish, take care. Thank you so much.
Take care, Mike. Thank you,
See ya.
everyone, for watching. Bye bye.